Okay, so this is like the first week of the entire thing that we're doing right now. Like I said in the orientation video, which I assume that most of us have seen, or all of us have seen, except maybe Tosin, because she has a bit of she's trying to catch up with us. So as I said in the orientation video, we're taking a topic each week. And for each week, the kind of structure we'd have is that on Sundays, I'll send materials and tasks, and Wednesday we'll have like a Q&A session. And the question and answer session is more like a time where I give you enough time between Sunday and Wednesday to like review the materials and the tasks. If you have any questions, you can, meet in a general class. But obviously, if you have any specific question, you can also reach out to me anytime during the week, really. It doesn't have to be on Wednesday. It's just Wednesday is a time when all of us come together as a, for lack of better words, community to ask questions. So today is like one of those days where we get to do question and answers. And then on either Friday or Saturday, the task or assignment should be submitted. And then on Sunday, we have like a code review. Basically, we review each other's code. Most people, as you will probably find out moving forward, there are different approaches to programming. You would rarely find two people write the same code, except they copy each other, really. Because I don't know if you've seen the material uploaded on Introduction to Programming. One of the things that it should probably teach you is that programming is kind of like a thinking pattern. So except two people have the same thinking pattern, their code won't be the same. So on Sundays, we kind of have like a review where we review the different kind of codes. We try to see people's approaches to the different problems. So that'll kind of increase our own scope of knowledge, right? And so that's like the structure of the week, of each week's rather. And as we move forward through the classes, it's going to get a bit more difficult. This week is very simple because what we're doing is just introduction. There's no coding, there's no intense reading. It's just a couple of videos and then a quiz whose deadline is for Friday. Although I would likely extend it to Saturday because some people have a bit of a difficult schedule, right? So before I go for do you guys get everything I said so far?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to talk about the introductory material. I mentioned that in the orientation video that I had, sometime in year two, just before I got into year two, I had this free time in my hand and I decided to check out programming. And then in that time, I stumbled upon this course on EDX. It's kind of a place where they taught programming for like, I'm sure some of you know MIT. It's kind of a very popular institute in the US. And so they have like these online classes that they take. And it was a bit interesting. The first few videos were nice, but it started to get more difficult. So I dropped it like after 2 weeks. But I know for a fact, the videos that I got, the first few videos that talk about the introduction to programming, they were very explanatory, at least for me. And so what I did was that I downloaded some of those videos, and that's what you have here. The first 4 that would explain, at least, like I said, for me, introduction to programming. Now, obviously, if you do not understand what the video says, essentially that's what we're doing here, Q&A. There will be a time when you ask me your questions, obviously, but because today is the first one I'm doing, I'm trying to put a lot of things in place first. So this course was quite good. I never finished it, mostly because when I got into year 2, I didn't do Python. I did a different language, and so into year 5. So it just seemed like ridiculous to finish it. But if you have the time and you want to try it out, maybe after we've completed our program, you can check it out. You get a certificate after you're done. I'm sure some will be like that. So, and it's free. I think the certificate is paid for like $10 or so, but for the most part, it is free. So, that is the videos on. That's how I got to this side. What do you call it now? Python course, and there are many more online. You go to Udemy, you go to Coursera, you go to Udacity. You'll find a lot of them online. That will teach you, and they will teach you programming from different perspectives, although they will all likely be centered around the same thing. So did you all get that? Or, should I recap it? I think Blessing went off for a bit there.
Please recap. I was off.
Yeah, I figured. So what I was saying is, nothing serious. I was just saying that I got this video from this course on MIT, on EDX rather, and it was sponsored by MIT. MIT is a popular school in the US. And so I spent quite some time, like 2 weeks, looking at it. I didn't understand it, but the first few videos were very explanatory, and that's what you have here. And I said that if you're interested, you can take the course when you're done with this program. You can take it. There's a free certificate that comes along with it, and it's free. Although I think the certificate costs around $10 to $20. And I said that there are other courses as well that you can check out. Coursera, there's Udacity, there are other sites that sell courses, and I think there's Udemy. Udemy, I think you have to pay for the courses. On Udacity and Coursera, as these guys, let me write this real quick. This and this, their payment structure is a bit tricky, but for the most part, you can get a lot of courses free there. But for Udemy rather, it's kind of like a shopping site where you get to decide, buy courses and all. So if you're to search for Python, for instance, you see a number of courses. The good thing, however, is that they have all these promos that they do. And so you see them for really cheap prices, like $13, $15. This is about 6K or so. And you see they have ratings as well. So you can decide if you want to, based on other people's review. So that's just me giving you an option outside the class. And that's to say that I am not trying to streamline you to whatever I know. You can always learn as much as you want. There's a lot. Python is one of the most powerful programming languages because you can do many things with it. Data analysis, machine learning, artificial intelligence, reinforcement learning, web development, scripting, automation. There are so many things that you can do with it. And so you don't have to do what I'm doing here, although I would recommend that you finish up this program first, because like I said, this will give you introduction, the basics that you need to build on from. So do make sure you view this video as an introduction to what we're going to be doing. It plays a major role for you because it kind of gives you this idea of what you're about to get into. It gives you a more bird's eye view of what programming is instead of focusing on just Python. So you can see it from a lot of angles, from C#, from Java, although I don't think they specifically mention the language, or I think this part 4 talks about languages. So it gives you a more bird's eye view for you to understand programming, and that would make it easier for me to explain it to you. All right. Do you guys understand what I've said now, or do you need me to recap again?
I
Understood.
understand.
All right, great. So now setting up, I know now for setting up, I know this video is.
Wait,
okay.
Is this in the stuff you sent to us? Is it there?
The what? The Google Classroom.
Yes.
Yes. When you open Google Classroom on your laptop, for instance, this is what you see. But sometimes this place can get very congested. Let me give you an example. I told you I was doing this with some people before. Just real quick to show you how it looks like when you get congested rather. This is how much it looks. And so everything just looks the same and you can get lost really. So the easiest thing to do is just come to classwork. There I structured everything in such a way that it's easier for you to understand. So you see the first part is topic 1, and then you have topic 2, and then topic 3. And if you check closely, it is similar to our syllabus that we have. So per week, I'll organize it this way. And so if you want to see everything on the stream page, then no problem. Or you can go to classwork as well, and then you see it organized, so you know where you stop and where to continue from. But on the phone, there's also a classwork option, although it doesn't present stuff like this. And maybe I would just look on your phone or Google how to find this particular section on the mobile app. I think it's there as well. No, I know it is there. It's like the second button at the bottom. But for the most part, you'll be using it on the computer really because you're doing programming. Most of your work will be on the computer, not on the phone. I said in the orientation video that your phone will mostly just be a notification kind of thing for you. I would post messages on the WhatsApp group that, okay, I've posted materials, go check it out. Google Classroom will give you notifications that, okay, materials have been posted as well. But I would personally recommend that you view them on your laptop because you can easily operate your Python code from here while you're watching the videos. That does not mean that you don't get to do it on your phone as well. If, for instance, you're in transit and you want to watch a couple of videos while moving, then that's also a possibility. You can view it on your phone. Many of the videos that I'll be posting on YouTube, right? So It's viewable on transit, whether you're at home, whether you're in move, whether you're in the gym, so you can just block your ears out and then listen. I'll also be posting materials like readable PDFs that you can go through as well if you're not the video kind of person. So I know that over answered your question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Does that answer your question? Listen.
Okay.
You got that, Abi? You sound a bit confused.
Yes.
Okay.
I got it.
All right. So setting up. Yeah, I taught you. I made this video to explain what softwares you're going to be needing. Essentially, the most important one is the idle software, which is like the Python software. If you watch the video, it will show you how to install it. Or for some of you that are technical, you can simply just go to Python's page. When you Google Python, the first page that comes up, you simply just go to download and then click this option, and then you install. Now, something that is very important, and I mentioned in the video, I'm going to mention it again. When you're installing Python, always make sure you check something called add to path. By the time this stuff is done downloading, I will show you what I mean by that. But that is very important because if you don't do that, it's not that your code wouldn't work. It's just you might have a number of complications, and I can resolve them. But I'd rather just save ourselves the trouble. So let me show you how that would look like. I'm not going to install it. I don't want to show you the oh shit, great. Oh no, fuck. Shit. Cancel. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Let's not do that. Watch the video on Python programming installation, setting up, and she'll explain what you need to do to install idle. By the time you're done installing, you should get something like this, which is a shell Python. This is Python 3.6, but I also have Python 3.9. So you should have something like this. Great. This is why I don't. Oh fuck. The installation I did just now affected my files. Okay, let's just work with Python 3.6 for now. And then moving forward, I will install my Python 3.9. I hope you guys are not lost, right? Did you understand what just happened now?
Yes.
Okay, so you should get something like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw something about lead code. Are we to just sign up for lead code? Or
yes, lead code is not a software. It's a website where you have different programming problems. This is something that I'm introducing newly. You sign up for lead code because I'll be posting some problems from here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if the earlier the better, essentially. This is something that every programmer will eventually come to. Not just lead code. I think there's also Akarank. Akarank is even more popular. But I think lead code has a larger set of problems to work through. So the more you start solving problems like this, the more prepared are you for interviews, because basically these are interview questions. That's what they are. You see up here, if you go to lead code's homepage, you see stuff like interview. Yeah? So you can do online assessments, but I mean, those ones will probably be advanced. But you can go to problems and you can sort out by easy to hard, and then just do stuff around, play with stuff here. So I'm going to be bringing out some questions from here that you should probably go through, just so that you're familiar with the idea of solving algorithms on sites like LeetCode and Akaran. Because eventually when you start applying for jobs, that's something that's going to be important. And if you've seen the videos that I posted on introduction material, one of the most important things that every programmer should have is this computational thinking pattern, which basically means how you approach a problem computationally. And when you go to LeetCode or Akaran, sorry, should I say that again?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a common feature that every programmer should have, which is how you approach a problem. Every programmer should be able to approach problems computationally, which is a big word to just say how you think through your problem in a way that you can break it into small pieces, or in other words, algorithms. It's by the time you review the videos and introductory materials, it should give you a bit more insight into that. So LeetCode and Akarank and the rest of them, what they do is that they provide problems in such a way that you would need to think through it first. When you get a job, most of the jobs you get, especially as a developer, you would not need to think through a problem. There will be somebody like maybe a project manager or a product manager that would have already broken down everything and just give you what you need to do, which at that point would probably be easy for you to do, to be a simple task. But Sometimes it can also be tricky as well, I guess. I've not really had a lot of experience in the programming workforce. I've only had one job as two jobs as a programmer, unlike some people that has worked 10. So this just allows you to think better, really. That's just it. A lot of the problems that are going to be working through this program are problems that they are not just here. You cannot just, you have to bring out a book and a pen first and then write and think before you can solve them. And that's just how it is in the job market. Any tech firm that's going to employ you, even though you're not going to think as much when you're working with them, their interview stage always requires them to give you some crazy ass programming question that requires you to spend 1 hour thinking. And for most of those interview questions, they don't give you the assignment and say, go home and come back. No, you sit in front of them, you open your computer, they'll be seeing you, and then you'll be programming. So I want to make sure that you're familiar with, stuff like that. So if you eventually decide to apply for jobs as a developer, it should be easy for you. Did you get that?
Yes.
Yes.
How about, okay, great. So that's lead code. Visual Studio Code is not compulsory, but if you want to download it, no problem. It's not compulsory. It's something that maybe eventually I use it, but eventually you might want to use it. But for now, I would recommend you just stick with idle. But I know some of you can be technical. So if you want to check out Visual Studio Code, I also gave some explanation there as well. And then I attached another video about getting started with Visual Studio Code. It's a very light software for coding. So if you check out this video, what happens is that, excuse me. If you check out this video, she kind of gives you an introduction into using Visual Studio Code. But like I said, it's not compulsory. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. And then finally, the quiz questions. So there's a Google form that you basically have to answer questions on. There are about 10 questions on it. And these are questions that are basically taken from these introductory materials. So if you've successfully watched these videos and understood them, then you should be able to answer this question successfully. All right. And like I said, I'm going to, let me do that now because I'll probably forget after. I'm going to update the deadline to Saturday instead. So you have more time for those who have a difficult schedule. So I think that's pretty much everything I have to say. Now will be a good time for your questions.
Okay. You said the lead code. Yeah. Is it like you said we see problems there?
Yes. There's a tab where you can click on that shows you different programming problems that you can solve. I recently just stumbled on it myself.
Okay, so it solves the problem.
It doesn't solve it. So for instance, if I open this one now, Palindrome Numbers, this is an example of a programming problem, right? It's an easy one. What this is basically telling you to do is that if they give you a number, determine if it's a palindrome. Palindrome is anything that is spelled the same when you go from front to back or back to front. So an example is that. That is spelled DAD, moving from front to back, and then DAD, moving from back to front. So this program says just write a code that can, check if a number is a palindrome. So 121 is a palindrome, -121 is not a palindrome, because when you spell -121 from the back, you get 121 minus. They're not the same. I mean, that's just what they will give you an explanation here. Then you have to come here, choose your preferred language. Since we're using Python, you select Python. Then you write your code. Once you become good, you start typing code here, and then you run your code, right? Then when you run your code, you kind of do all this analysis and everything. And once you are sure your code is good, you can click submit. And then, wow, now they also have a solutions page that kind of explains the answer to, and like a discuss page where you can check out what other people are saying about that particular problem. But if you still feel like it's not explanatory enough, and I've been there many times, there's a guy that explains a lot of codes on YouTube. I've forgotten his name. I recently saw some of his videos. Yeah, this guy. So he would take a problem from lead code and then try to solve it. So you can check palindrome number and search for it, and then just put lead code solved. And then you should see somebody that would have solved it exactly. So this guy's already solved it in 5 minutes, and then he explains what the problem is. Now, obviously, if you can't find a solution, I can always help out too myself. So there are problems, you first attempt to solve it. If you can't figure it out, there should be a solution here where you can search through. Some problems have their solution locked. You have to subscribe $39 first before you can view it. For those ones, you can just skip them. You can go to YouTube and search for the solutions, or you can just check out what people are saying on the Discuss channel to get an idea. But this is not something you have to worry about now, right? It's not something that you have to worry about now. It's probably maybe like the 8th week or the 5th week that I might introduce lead code. I'm just saying now, so you sign up and then you can get over it. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
In this Python program, is it just computation, like dealing with numbers you are going to be doing, working on, or what?
Okay. So that is a very good question and tricky one. There is a concept called, okay, not a concept. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called computer science. It's a course. There's a whole course on it. Now, when you start programming, the ultimate goal is, first of all, the question you have to ask: what do you want to do this for? If you want to use it to develop web applications, or you want to use it to develop scripting, ultimately, whatever you're going to use it for, you still have to learn the basics. Now, the reason why computational, as you said, computational thinking or computational questions are important is because they help you understand the basics better. If you go, let me give you an example, for instance. One of the most controversial topics in any programming language is something called recursion. Recursion is a very difficult part of programming. Many people say that. And it's not something that is commonly used in web development, for instance, or machine learning, because recursion can be very tasking. Now, it doesn't, however, mean you shouldn't learn recursion. I'm not sure if you get what I'm saying. It doesn't mean you shouldn't learn recursion. In the basics, in the programming basics, whatever language you're learning, they will definitely teach you recursions first, even though you're not going to use it. And the reason is because when you start to write programs in whatever companies you end up in, whether you're doing web development, you're doing scripting, you're doing machine learning, because you know all this range of things, you're able to say, okay, this is what I feel will be best good for this. I know that's not all that sound complicated and all, but to reiterate my point, computational questions like this help you understand the basics. And when I mean the basics, I'm basically referring to stuff like this: the variables, operators and inspection, control, loops, data structures, functions, functional programming, modules, classes. They help you understand the basics very well. One of the most basic things that people don't understand well, unless you look at it from a computational perspective, is loops. Loops is probably the most difficult, not most difficult. It's probably where many people get stuck at, because everything you've been doing before loops is basic. But by the time you get to loops, things take like a very large step. It's not impossible to do, it is possible, but it takes this very large step, and then people are not so used to it, and so people get stuck. So it is there that you see a lot of computational problems that will help you scale through it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So I know I am particularly concerned for people who do not appreciate mathematics, or people who do not like mathematics. If you've done your research about maths, you will find out, or you would have heard this, that maths helps you think better. And that's basically the goal, yeah. With programming, we're trying to achieve one thing. No matter how much I teach you, I cannot teach you how to think. I can only teach you, if I give you a problem, for instance, this problem here that says palindrome number, you are the one that should go and think about how you are going to solve the problem. And then I'll just tell you, okay, based on your thoughts, this is how you write the code. I'll explain some more as we get into the class, but I can't teach you to think. I can only teach you that, okay, when you've thought of the solution, this is how you write it in Python. When you start the solution, this is how you write it in Java. But you being able to think through a problem and then solving it is a very important skill that many programmers don't usually overlook. It is very important. And so computational thinking kind of allows you to do that. You understand?
Yeah.
Awesome. More questions, please. Blessing.
Yes.
No questions.
I don't know. I'm still lost, but then I know
You're lost,
I'm
okay?
like I'm lost, but then it's just because I'm new to it now.
You're used to it. You've done programming
I'm new
before.
to it.
Oh, you're
New.
new to it. Okay. It's fine. Like I said, have you reviewed the materials yet?
No.
You've not. Okay. So this is probably a warning or a not a warning. It's an advice. Try to get to it as fast as possible. I don't want us to spend too long on this program. I have 11 topics. I want to spend less than 11 weeks, 11 weeks rather, to finish it up. Because this is just an introduction. This is not what you're actually going to be doing. This is going to give you a lot of confidence as a developer, yes. But then what exactly you're going to be doing will come after this. So I want you to get through this as quickly as possible and then start doing the actual thing. So in a week, I know people's schedules are tight, but in a week, if you can watch the videos as early as possible, because this one is still basic. You know that, let me show you an example, for instance. Yeah, this is loops. I posted 1, 2, 3, just the last 4 are materials, and this 5 rather, are tasks that they were supposed to do. Fibonacci sequence, guessing game, bad matrix, random walker extended. And the philosophy behind that is that the best way for you to learn is by solving problems. So the more problems you solve, the better you get. I don't want you to get stuck on the videos, like watch too many videos, because that's a common thing. You go to any tutorial course, they'll just give you videos and videos and videos. So what I try to do was I give people as much tasks as I can rather, for a week. Now it turns out that if you don't manage your time well, many people don't get to finish up the task before the end of the week. And like I said in the orientation video, if I notice a bit of inconsistency for weeks consecutively, I'll be forced to remove you. And that will not even be the real problem. The real problem is that if you are consistently not meeting up the deadlines, you yourself may lack the motivation. So I recommend the videos, if you can get through the videos as quickly as possible, so you can start focusing on the task or the quiz. That is the best way to go about this. The videos won't be much. I try my best to keep the videos minimal. This is just an introductory to this thing, so it's fine. It's okay that the videos are a lot. But in other weeks, I'll try to keep the videos minimal so you can watch them in the first two to 3 days. And so that by Wednesday, you ask me questions. And then from Wednesday to Saturday, you're just focusing on the task. But it's very important that you get them done as quickly as possible, unless you're eventually going to lose motivation. Just a general advice for both Blessing,
Okay,
Sheung, and every other person. And please don't call me sir.
Thank you,
sir.
All right, so I'll assume that there are no more questions, and then we can call it a night, yes?
I don't know. Yes.
Do you have more questions?
Yeah, I was seeing something like move left, move right, scan, read, write, stop. What does that mean?
Say that again.
I was seeing something like in one of the videos you sent.
Okay.
Move left, move right, scan.
Can you share your screen?
Read, write,
can you
stop.
share your screen so you can show me what exactly you're referring to?
Let me see. I can't. I'm not opening the. I'm using my phone for now.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
All right, this is what you can do. Send me a message. Send me an image of a snapshot rather of that move left, move right. Send it to me on WhatsApp, and then I'll take a look.
Okay, no problem.
All right then. So thank you guys for coming. Yeah, I will see you likely on Sunday. Like we'll talk again on Sunday for next week.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Take care. Blessing. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.